Okay. Okay, I call this regular meeting to order, and could we have a certification of a quorum, please? Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now could we please rise for invocation and pledge of allegiance, and the invocation will be given by Shelley Ibarra, Aransas Pass resident.
Good evening. Will you bow your heads with me, please? Father God, we are very thankful you are our God. Your word says in Psalms 118 to give you thanks, for you are good and your faithful love endures forever. Thank you for every person in Aransas Pass. Thank you for all who work in every department. Please give wisdom to each one. I ask blessings on their finances. I ask for health for them and their families. I ask for a blessing of rain, Father. Bless the council as they discuss all that needs to be attended to tonight. In your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we're going to move into presentations and be on the status of water. Mr. Peter Zanoni, City Manager of the City of Corpus Christi.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council and City Manager, Miss Mary. And so I am Peter Zanoni, the City Manager. I'm not sure if you can hear me well on this, but the City Manager for the City of Corpus Christi. And we appreciate being here tonight. We're going to provide you and the community here and watching an update on water. And I'm going to present a little bit here on the onset, and then Nick Winkleman, our Chief Operating Officer for Corpus Christi Water, will update the council and the community on projects we're working on to bring more water to the region. So with that, the City of Corpus Christi is a full-service city. We have 28 departments. But one of our most important one is our water operation, known as Corpus Christi Water. And we serve not only the city, but a region of residents, commercial accounts, and large volume industrial users. We serve folks in 7 different counties, so not just Nueces County, but 6 additional counties. So we're the region's water planner, producer, and provider. And what we do know is that we are in a drought. And last week I asked the National Weather Service, who we meet with once a week, I just needed a reminder of how long we've been in this drought. And the drought that we're currently in, we have been in for about 4.5 years. Seems hard to believe, but 4.5 years. So the last significant rainfall was in the spring of 2021. And we haven't received any significant rainfall since that time. One thing that we inherited, I've been with the city for 6.5 years, and one thing that we know to be true there is that all of our water right now comes from surface water. That means rivers that may be dammed up into a reservoir that comes from rain. And so when we're in these extreme drought conditions, the inflows don't happen in the reservoirs, and our water supply is challenged. And so that's where we find ourselves today. The City of Corpus Christi, just for context, or Corpus Christi Water, on a peak production day in the summertime, we either treat and sell, or there's direct withdrawal from the reservoirs of about 130 million gallons of water a day. 130 million, that's a maximum amount in peak summer months when it's hot and a lot of water is being used. The city of Aransas Pass, just for context, you all are a customer of ours indirectly through the San Patricio Water District, but you all consume about 1.25 gallons a day. So in that 130 million, in the past, most of that water came from our 2 western reservoirs, Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon, and they, on a good day when there was plenty of water in there, would produce about 70 75 million gallons a day. And today that's not happening. It's more like 30, 25 to 30. Most of our water today is coming in from East Texas, from water rights that we have in the lower Colorado, or through a take-or-pay contract from what we know there as Lake Texana, operated by the Lavaca-Navidad River Authority. So in this drought that we have been in, we've done a couple of things to try to bring on more water so we don't end up in a situation where supply won't be enough of demand. And Nick's going to talk more about these, but what we did on the onset is we had to shift our reliance on the western reservoirs, Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon, to the eastern reservoirs, Lake Texana and the lower Colorado. And we literally reverse the percentages. And so today we're bringing in more than 70% of our water from East Texas and about 30% from the west. And that just doesn't happen by the push of a button. We had to do a lot of work on the Mary Roads pipeline, strengthen it, add more pumping capacity, change the whole program to bring in what essentially is 82% more water. And that's been happening since May of this year. So even with that, though, we're still needing more water. And so the city now is moving to groundwater as an alternate source. And remember, all of our water has been surface water from rivers and rain. So the city really hasn't had much of a stable groundwater program, but that's something we're working on now to get us through this drought and then keep that as a source to have intermittently when those western reservoirs return. And Nick will talk to you about that. So groundwater in 2 locations, including Nueces County and then San Patricio County. In Nueces County, we refer to the groundwater as our Nueces River Wells Project. And then in San Patricio County, the groundwater is from the Evangeline Water Project, a little bit north of Sinton. And so those are new sources that we will add in time so that supply always meets demand. And then we'll keep them on in our portfolio to use them in the future when the western reservoirs lower again. So we hope one day they'll replenish those western reservoirs, but it's slow going right now. And then tomorrow our city council is going to begin conversations again on seawater desalination. We have a location that's permitted, the real estate's under contract, there's power, there's a distribution system, there's loans, the lowest interest loans. That plant would produce 30 million gallons of water a day. So City Council is going to talk more about it tomorrow. Going to, as an option, the second bidder that bid under our proposal initially when we had Kiewit. And so that'll be discussed tomorrow. So that's another source of water. So we have surface water, groundwater, and then desalination water. We need to have resilience in our water system. And I would admit, as the CEO of it, we don't. The reliance just on all surface water is not going to do it anymore. And so we need resilience that are in our inventory. In the past, we used the Wells project along the Nueces River, but that was on other people's property, and we paid a royalty to get onto their property. And when the drought went away, the leases on the property went away, and then ultimately the wells fell into disrepair. So we need permanent groundwater solutions, and we're going to talk tomorrow, as I mentioned, on seawater desalination. And so we're here today. The mayor actually called me and said, hey, Mr. Zanoni, can you come and present to us, because we're a little worried over here, as many communities are. The main message we want to tell you tonight is that we have more information and better presentation of information to show how long it would be before supply doesn't meet demand, if that even happens. When you take all these supplies and put them in a graph, and you're going to see that. In the past, we just relied on the 2 western reservoirs levels and didn't even focus on the East Texas. And so people would know how we're doing based on how much water is in the western reservoirs. That's no longer a good barometer, because we're bringing in more water than ever from the east. So Nick's going to show you all an updated dashboard that we have done now that's on our website and updated every 2 weeks. That gives us certainty. That should give this community certainty that we're going to be okay if we can deliver everything we're supposed to. And then we have numerous projects that are lined up that are underway. It's not that they're in the future, but they're underway, including our Nueces program, Nueces River program. including the Evangeline project and even some desal work as well. I do have just 2 slides that I'm going to show. I don't know who has the clicker. Yeah, if you can go to slide 2. So we are, part of what we're doing tonight is consistent with what we've been doing now for the last couple of weeks, which is Nick and myself and others are getting out into the community, getting away from our city hall, and coming to tell you all our message. And we're glad to be here tonight, especially for the audience. Looks like you have a good turnout at your meeting and the council as well. And the message that we've been delivering is that we're going to be good if we can deliver on the plans that we have, and we think we can. We're working real hard to do that. We're not going to, there's some stories out there that we're going to run out of water, we're going to be out of water. I would say those aren't true. We have until next November before we reach a 6-month point where supply doesn't meet demand, but Nick's going to show us the plan that won't happen next November. And so, plus we may get a little rain that'll help us. But we've been out in the community. You can see here the last couple of meetings. We've been at a big town hall meeting up in just a little bit north of Robstown, talking about groundwater with those individuals. We went to San Patricio Commissioners Court at one of their meetings in November. We went to the San Patricio State of the County. I know Aransas Pass was there, and we talked to that captive audience about the Evangeline project in particular. And we have been at Flower Bluff Business Association, and then just last week we were at the City of Rockport at their City Council meeting. And then on this next slide, you can see this week we have today's Aransas Pass City Council meeting. On Wednesday, we're going to travel early to Lavaca Navidad River Authority, their board meeting. That is in Edna, Texas. That's where Lake Texana is. That river authority manages that lake and reservoir, and that's where we get our water from. And then the week of Thanksgiving, if anybody's bored and want to break from all those turkeys, on I think it's Tuesday the 24th, we're going to have a big town hall meeting in San Patricio County to talk about the Evangeline project, and that'll be at the San Patricio Fairgrounds. And Commissioner Gonzalez from San Patricio County, as well as Judge Krebs, the mayor of Sinton, and the city manager of Sinton have all agreed that that's a good date and time, and so that's why we've picked that time. So we'll be there to talk to the community a little bit about the drought and how we're managing it, but more specifically about the Evangeline project, to make sure they know about that project and some of the safeguards that we're putting in place to minimize any disruption to their water. So with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nick Winkleman, who is our Chief Operating Officer of Corpus Christi Water, and he's going to tell you the details on some of these projects we're working on so that we'll always have enough water in our region. So with that, I'll be here after Nick as well to help answer any questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and City Manager Mary. Thank you for inviting us and having us here tonight. As our City Manager, Peter Zanoni, said, I'm going to walk you through some of these projects and show you what we're doing, what the staff at Corpus Christi Water is working heavily on. So the first project I want to talk about is our Nueces groundwater project. This project is something, it's a playbook from the past. The city utilized wells in as early as the 50s and in the 80s and 90s to supplement the flow in the Nueces River. So as we embarked on this issue, this historic drought that we're dealing with, we decided to look at that, and as Peter said earlier, previously those wells were located on private property, and there were some challenges associated with that. So we did investigate a total of 9 of those wells that were used in the 80s and 90s, and one of them was used in the 50s. After further investigation, video surveys, and pumping tests, we found all 9 of those to be not viable. So we're 0 for 9. So immediately what we did is we looked at city-owned property. We liked the playbook from the past, but we were going to learn from it. So we decided to drill wells on city-owned property. The city of Corpus Christi owned various lots along the Nueces River along County Road 73. We refer to that today as our eastern well field. To date, we've drilled 8 wells there. Those 8 wells can produce up to 10 million gallons a day. Those wells pump water directly into the Nueces River, which conveys the water to our river intake station at the Owen Stevens Water Treatment Plant. The work was done expeditiously. We hired a drilling contractor, actually 2 drilling contractors. One of the things that led to the speed of that project was all of the transmission water line was installed by our own crews. And you can see that on the pictures here. All of that was installed by our own crews. And then the other problem when you look at any kind of pump operation is power supply. So there wasn't 3-phase 480-volt power available at this well site. So we were fortunate. We've got a great high-performing gas department at our city. They laid gas lines, and we're operating all 8 of those wells with natural gas generator. The next step is we knew we needed to continue to supplement our supply. So with our council approval, we purchased 250 acres near Blunser, Texas. And we have a plan. We're currently drilling. We're developing that well site. We're currently drilling there right now. We've drilled 4 wells to date. Those wells have been tested and water quality samples have been taken. We're currently drilling well number 5 right now. The goal for that well field is a maximum of 12 wells, and that well field will also pump directly into the Nueces River. Now, we do need a bed and banks permit. That's a TCEQ permit to operate that well field into the river. We have a TCEQ bed and banks permit for our first well field, and we're working to apply that another permit to our second well field, also known as the Western well field. The goal is to have that well field completely online by May of 2026. And I'll show you a little bit later what impact that will have for all of us when you look at drought conditions and water emergencies. A big note that I would like to point out about both of these well fields is the state is supporting them. In fact, we have a $30 million grant that the state is providing, and we're working through that paperwork right now with the Texas Water Development Board. That alone is it's going to cover approximately 80% of the cost of that well field or so, both of those well fields, so we're very excited about that. If you could go to the next slide. So the next groundwater project we have is in San Patricio County. It's often referred to as the Evangeline Project. The Evangeline Project is something that the city has been talking about for many years. And the reason it's always been discussed and it's always been in the news is location. So the Evangeline property is located where the Mary Rose pipeline runs right across the front of it. And that is critical for 2 reasons. The first being time. We all know time is critical and we need to bring more water into our system as soon as possible. The second is cost. If the more water that we can pump from that well field and put it into the Mary Rose pipeline to convey it to our Owen Stevens Water Treatment Plant, the less costly it'll be. When you talk about any project, whether it's groundwater or desalination, conveyance is a huge part of the cost. So we're working very hard to minimize costs, but also time is critical. The Evangeline project, the goal is, total goal is 24 million gallons a day. We have an intermittent goal or a short-term goal to deliver 12 million gallons per day by November 2026. And again, I'll show you what that means to all of us going forward. So if you look at the totals for the groundwater projects in Nueces County, both the eastern and western well fields is approximately 28 million gallons a day together. The Evangeline project is 24 million gallons a day. So one thing that we know about groundwater is we've got to do our job. We've got to manage it responsibly. We've got to monitor it and observe it. The goal, and you'll see, we've got surface water, this brings on groundwater, and the goal is to make sure that we have those sources to manage those water supplies appropriately in the future. There's a lot going on with the Evangeline project. The city has hired a team of professionals to help us design that project, to help us ensure that we can bring it online with that goal of November 2026, that partial goal. We've got Pape Dawson Engineers, Hanson Engineers, HDR, and they're primarily involved in the connection to the Mary Rhodes pipeline, and then also our groundwater modeler, which is Intera Incorporated. Intera is actually working on both well field projects for us, the Evangeline project and the Nueces wells. We've also done a lot of preliminary work, which includes a independent hydrogeologic evaluation of the property as part of our due diligence efforts before we embark on purchasing the groundwater rights. That independent hydrogeologist has confirmed water availability, and they have confirmed the initial designs that were in fact done by Intera Incorporated. So we're very excited about that. Where are we at in this process? So we're working very closely with the Evangeline Laguna LP. That's a partnership that owns the water rights. Essentially, they have 180 days or 6 months to secure all of the permits required for this project. Primarily, that is the drilling permits and the transport permit. The transport permit is required from the San Patricio Groundwater Control District to move water out of San Patricio County and into Nueces County. This is, we can talk about this a lot, but essentially water is being pumped from San Pat County to Nueces County, treated, because that's where our treatment plant is, only to be returned to San Patricio County through the San Pat Municipal Water District. So if I could say, for years and decades, the water from the western reservoirs, through Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon reservoirs, was in fact pumped or provided to San Patricio County. As we all know, those sources are almost at historic lows, and in Choke Canyon it is at a historic low. So now we've got to look for other sources, and that sources allows us to continue to provide water to San Patricio County. If we could go to the next slide. So the other thing that we're looking at short term is wastewater reuse. So the city of Corpus Christi has 6 wastewater treatment plants. We also have a number of industrial customers that can use that wastewater effluent. So we were working on a number of fronts with a number of different contracts, but essentially the ultimate goal there is to be able to use 3 million gallons a day of effluent water by November of 2026, followed by another 10 to 13 million gallons a day by December of 2027. And why is that important? The use of that effluent water offsets our demand requirements. So we want to lessen the amount of demand that our customers need. And so it's very important. So we've got, there's one of the hard parts is our largest wastewater treatment plant is the Oso wastewater plant. And that's in the absolute wrong part of town for the folks that need that effluent water. So we're working on some conveyance projects to move that effluent water to where it needs to go. And again, the key there is offsetting our demand. If we can take that 135 million gallons a day down to 120 million gallons a day, that's huge. That really is huge. And the key here is I just want to show that we are really looking at every alternative. We're trying to uncover every opportunity to, in effect, push what's called that level 1 water emergency back. We could go to the next slide. So one thing that the city manager and I talk a lot about is diversifying our water supply portfolio. As you know, currently our supply is heavily dependent upon surface water, and it's heavily dependent upon the climate, which we don't control. And we all know that because we've been dealing with this for 4+ years. The surface water sources consist of Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon Reservoir. Again, that's our western sources. The eastern sources are Lake Texana and the Colorado River. And this year we've done a full switch where the majority of our water, almost 70% of our water, is coming from the eastern sources due to that's what's available. And in fact, this year, since we increased pumping on the Mary Rhodes pipeline to approximately 72 million gallons a day, we will have used all of our contractual water with the Lavaca Navidad River Authority. Almost all of the more water than we've ever had from the Colorado River. So that's a little tricky because the Lower Colorado River Authority manages the Colorado River, and there are times in the year where they limit our take from the Colorado. And then we also secured an additional contract of water from Lake Texana through our partners Formosa Plastics, who had some extra contractual water that we were allowed to purchase. In terms of groundwater, again, we've got the Nueces program and the Evangeline project, which is the San Patricio groundwater program. And then, of course, the third leg to this stool is seawater, right? We really feel we don't have a stable water supply unless our stool has 3 legs. The third is seawater. So the Harbor Island project, that is the only project, seawater project, that is fully permitted, and it is ready to go. So that's the project on the Corpus Christi Ship Channel. We have the TCEQ intake and discharge permits. We have all of the Army Corps permits. As Peter said earlier, we've got low interest funding available through the state of Texas. We've got the state support. And tomorrow will be an important day for us at our council meeting, as our council will consider some optionality on how to proceed. Other seawater projects include the Harbor Island project. That is a project that is being managed by the Nueces River Authority. It's a joint project between the Nueces River Authority and the Port of Corpus Christi. The city of Corpus Christi's involvement in that project is a reservation fee. So the city, looking forward to the future, we've provided a reservation fee to contribute to that project to reserve 50 million gallons a day from that plant when it is completed. They are currently working with TCEQ on their discharge and intake permits, and they also have one of the required Army Corps permits. The third seawater desalination project you may hear in the news is one potentially located at the Barney Davis power plant on the south side of Corpus Christi. That project is also, it's been talked about for many years, so we are looking at that as well to better understand the feasibility of that project and how we could possibly move forward. So one thing that, you know, and you ask, why are we in this situation? Weather. You know, I talked about our supply is surface water, so the weather plays a huge role. So a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. On the right is the drought, we call it the drought monitor. It's provided to us from the National Weather Service. In fact, we talk to them, we have a weekly call so that we can better understand the weather and the potential and what we've got in the forecast. But as you can see, you know, all of the coastal bend is in a drought. It's in different stages of a drought. In fact, the majority of Texas is in a drought. The chart on the left is the annual rainfall for the area. We just use the city of Corpus Christi. A couple of things I want to point out is that we're in November now, so annual rainfall is for November 1.97 inches. December is 1.8 inches. It's not a lot. So even if we get normal rainfall November and December, it's really not going to make a dent. The annual total for Corpus Christi is about 32 inches. To date, and that's in a calendar year, to date we've received 16 inches. So that's just this year. But when you compound those other 3 years to this year, it makes things get really bad. And in fact, it's not just normal rainfall we need, but it's extraordinary rainfall. On our call today with the National Weather Service, we are in La Nina. We're hoping to get out of La Nina hopefully by the end of January, early February. Then we'll go back into normal conditions. What La Nina means for this area of the world is warmer than normal winter and a drier than normal winter. With that information, the National Weather Service has told us to keep an eye, keep a lookout for the May-June rains. And you can see on that chart, May and June, that's where you get rainfall over 3 inches, which is great, but we need about 10 times that. Besides that, our next real big chance is the hurricane season, which is a hard thing to hope for. We can go to the next slide. So what CCW has done this year to hopefully share information and provide a better handle on where we are in terms of our water supply. We call this our water supply dashboard. And you can see the bars. The bars are different colors. The different colors stand for the different supplies that we have. For instance, the darker purple at the top, that's the Western supplies. You've got the lighter blue is the Eastern supplies. And you can see earlier in the year, like at the beginning of the year, we were heavily on the East. You can see that transition in this graph going to we're heavily in the West. You can see this transition going to the Eastern supplies. Additionally, you can see the orange at the bottom. That's the Eastern well field. That's about 10 million gallons a day. And you can ask, well, you talked about the Western well field and the Evangeline, so they're not on this chart yet. They will be once we have permits and a little more certainty. But once those are in hand, we will input those into this dashboard and update it as well. A couple of other things I want to point out. The demand, that's the curve at the top. That is based on 2024 usage. Once we finish calendar year 2025, we will update it. A couple of things that we've seen and we're so pleased with. We've seen a lot of communities working to adhere to the drought restrictions. So we've seen a number of communities, their usage drop. Industry, many of them have embarked on process improvements, which have included the requirement for less water. They are still working through those, but we are working with our industry partners to understand their plant shutdowns and their processes so we can better understand what 2026 may look like. You can see there is an arrow on the right where it talks about stage 1, level 1 water emergency. That is currently forecasted for November of 2026. That is when we will be 180 days from when our supply won't meet our demand. So the good news is, though, I talked about these other projects. If the Western well field comes online in May of 2026, that level 1 water emergency date actually gets pushed back to May of 2027, which is great. If the first phase of Evangeline comes online, so let's just say 12 million gallons a day in November of 2026, then we're pushing back that level 1 water emergency date until approximately December of 2027. Good news also. Another key point is the inflows. There are inflows into our reservoirs accounted for here. That's using the 2024 data. However, I do want to caution you that the 2025 inflow data into those reservoirs is worse. We actually thought that 2024 would be the most conservative, but it wasn't. So that's why rainfall is still important. You know, with our commitment, reliance upon surface water, rainfall is still critical. It's a critical component to all of this. I'll be positive. When we get those significant rains, then this chart changes. Those dates will get pushed back. We update it every 2 weeks. It goes out on our website. It's like I said, we look at all the numbers every 2 weeks and update it. There's a QR code on the slide. On that same website is there's a weekly water supply update memo that goes to our mayor and council by the end of the day every Friday. Those memos are also put on that website so that everyone can see it. The other things we're doing in terms of communication, besides getting out and talking and listening, we are improving our web pages. So we will have a project-specific site for the Nueces groundwater program, for the Evangeline groundwater program, for our effluent program, and hopefully in the very near future for our seawater desalination program. Those websites will include status updates on our construction, updates on permitting, where we're at. It'll include key data on the project. And that is happening because that's what we've heard. You know, over this last month, that's what we've heard. People want more information, and they want to know how we're proceeding. They know we're working, but they want to know how we're proceeding. And with that, I'll stand by, Mayor, for any questions, and I know that Peter's here as well if we have questions for him.
I have a question. I'm very pleased to know that you are working with heavy industry on minimizing their usage of water, or at least trying to minimize it. But has the city of Corpus Christi, coming from Houston and working for a coffee company for 13 years, it was heavy industry, oil and gas companies were very heavily RO operated in their businesses. 9 times out of 10, when I would tell them, you do understand it takes 3 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of RO, they had no idea. Have you stopped and spoken to all of your major large offices, your industry, and asked them, do you have an RO system, and is there any way you can put in a water filtration system that is not RO? That is your quick and easiest fix to minimize it today. Have you all considered that at all?
Right, so a couple of key points in regards to that. Our heavy industry, we call them our large volume users. You may hear that every once in a while, but they are largely purchasing treated water, potable water from the Owen Stevens water treatment plant. So the water that they are using for their processes, they're not heavy in RO like they are in Houston.
But their offices are, most likely.
Their administrative facilities, in terms of the 135 million gallons a day, is a very, very low usage.
Correct, but we are in a water drought. We need to save as much water as we possibly can. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We all need to work together to do whatever we can. Completely agree, and that is why they are following the drought restrictions and everything else.
I mean, if you have
But it'd be just like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, if you have a location with 2,000 employees and they're all using the restroom and drinking water and making coffee and everything else, they're using a lot of water for personal use.
Well,
That
they
potentially
wouldn't
this could
be
save.
treating our potable water with RO. The water is we're a superior rated water system. It's safe to drink. That would be double treatment, right? Because I mean, we're furnishing them the treated water from the Owen Stevens water treatment plant.
Right. I get
I will tell you this though, they're very excited about the effluent water, right? Because that way they can use that for their cooling, a lot of their processes. Their
Yeah, I
cooling
mean, because in
systems.
Houston, when I worked for the coffee company and I go do an install of coffee equipment, there was RO water all over the place. And it's like, you do understand it takes 3 gallons to make 1 gallon. And they're like, no, I had no idea. People are not educated. They don't know. I didn't know till I went to go work for this coffee company. RO water it's not needed. And there's other ways to get good filtrated drinking water or usable water, because they're looking at Corpus Christi water as being city water. Oh, that's nasty. I can't drink that. I want filtered water. That's the train of thought. I heard it for 13 years. And I'm just asking, have you considered going to your heavy industry and asking in your administrative offices, in your warehouses, are you using RO? And is there an opportunity to not use RO and put in a different filtration system that is not an RO system? There are other systems out there. EveryPure makes a great water filter, believe it or not.
Yeah, and we at Corpus Christi Water, we promote that you certainly don't need RO, whether it's a business or a home, to treat our water. As I said earlier, the TCEQ has rated and continues to rate our water system as superior. We meet all the requirements, both TCEQ and EPA requirements. So it's an important message. I completely agree with you. It's an important message for all our customers. I'm glad we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize how the high quality of the water it is.
I have a question. With the projects that have already been approved and the cost of the water, what do you foresee the water rates going up to for our citizens here in Aransas Pass?
So the good news is the Nueces Well project, we've got that $30 million grant from the state of Texas,
that's
right?
good, yes.
And it's the other good news is the Nueces Wells comparatively have minimal operational costs. So that's going to be very minimal. The Evangeline project, of course, there's the purchase price for the groundwater rights. And then we're going to have to drill the wells, install the water line, run the power, and we're still waiting on the engineer's cost estimate for that. We'll have that mid-December. So I can't do the rate calculations until I have that key number.
Okay.
And then when you look at seawater desalination, we had some initial numbers as we're moving forward with the first phase through the Inner Harbor project. However, that project's been delayed, and I think all of us can understand when projects are delayed, costs go up. So I don't have price certainty on that now, so I can't answer that question. What I can tell you is historically the rates have not gone up much in the last 10 years. They will go up January 1st. And with the current situation with just the commodity market, the chemical market, the rates will go up. We should really expect rates to go up every year. I like your question, but I've got a lot of question marks on these big projects.
Okay.
And we'll definitely share that once
Yeah.
I can dial it in. I hesitate to give you a firm number.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Thank you.
If y'all are going to tie into the Harbor Island project, does that mean then we as a city don't have a need to? Or how will that change our rates? Would it still be better for us to?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. That's something that we get asked a lot. So Harbor Island, the phase one is 100 million gallons a day. The city of Corpus Christi has a reservation fee for 50 million gallons a day, of which that water will be sold to our current customers. So it can be sold to the San Patricio Municipal Water District, which
This is where we get our.
where you get your water,
Correct.
right? So all the water that goes to San Patricio Municipal Water District comes from Corpus Christi Water. If we're getting 50 million gallons a day from Harbor Island, that would go to part of it would go to San Patricio Municipal Water District and in effect be available for the city of Aransas Pass.
And I think you'll sell it to them at a blended rate, correct?
Yeah, that's how so we have a contract with the San Patricio Municipal Water District, and that gets set up. We've got, it's determined per the contract, but essentially, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mayor. So San Patricio is also taking water from the Mary Roads Pipeline. They're buying water from us from the Nueces River. They have an intake pump station there, so it is a blended rate. So you're not seeing that sole one project rate.
Yep.
And that's one of the advantages, I mean, of Corpus Christi Water. You know, we service 500,000 people, 7 counties. There's an advantage to the size and the just the overall breadth of the supplies. That's correct. Yeah, thank you for asking that.
Anything, Randy?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I
We
guess I
appreciate
have
y'all
one for
coming here.
Peter. I've asked him, I don't know how many times, I'll ask him again. So, I promise you don't have to run through the hall, I guess, so we're good to stay buying water from where we're at, in your opinion
Yes,
right
you
now.
are, yeah. So to that question too of the reservation fee, we, because of the lease, the property lease that they have from the Port of Corpus Christi, the Port of Corpus Christi, the commissioners gave the city a favorable rate discount. I think it's like 10 cents or 10%, but there's a rate.
It's 10%.
10% less than anybody else would pay. So already we'll be buying it cheaper, and then we'll pass on that lower rate to. So I think in short, you don't. I wouldn't. And we're working closely with John Byram, the CEO of the Nueces River Authority. I've been a strong partner of his and advocate for their project all along. So he knows we're here tonight. So I think it's fair to say you don't have to worry about doing a reservation fee, especially a city that might not have the financial disposable income. So I would recommend you don't do that, and I think John Byram would support that. The $50 million was the maximum, pretty much, that we could recommend and purchase, and City Council did agree to that recommendation, and that reservation fee has been made. So I think you're going to be okay. As I mentioned, the blended rate will be passed on to you, and the reduction in the rate because of the favorable lease terms that we get through the port will benefit you. And just to confirm, everything we've said is a lot of information. Nick went through a lot of detail.
Yeah.
The bottom line is we're trying to do everything we can so that we don't reach curtailment. And the chart that was up there that showed the bars with the demand, the curve, and the top is the supply. What we don't have shown on there, and what we showed to our city council, was that same slide or graph with these additional water sources. And so when you put on the additional water from our Nueces wells, and when you put on the Evangeline project, 12 million, and then another 12 million, we never enter into curtailment at all, ever. So not only is the message that we're not going to run out of water, but we won't go into curtailment. That's what we're seeing on the modeling. When you take that graph that was up there, that's from our website. What we showed City Council recently was that same graph layering in 2 more sources, our western Nueces River wells, which is about 17 MGD, and then 24 from Evangeline in 2 different installments, if you will, 12 million and another 12 million. And that shows on the graph that curtailment doesn't even take place. And so that's the goal, and that's our message tonight to you. That's the reason we're here. There's been a lot of fear-mongering, a little bit of politics involved as well. But we want to let the community be rest assured, and we'll update you if things don't look like they're going to head that way. But we base our statements on facts and planning and risk mitigation, and we think we've mitigated a lot of risk. We have a lot of planning, and we have a lot of facts, and so what we're telling you tonight, we feel confident in telling you, which is that we're going to be okay as a region. We're working hard to not go into curtailment, which means curtailment's a mandatory reduction of use, whether you're a residential, commercial, or large volume user, an industrial user. And so we're working so that does not happen. We feel confident it won't happen. It will not happen. And we'll keep you updated along this continuum of about a year if things take a different turn for one reason or another.
Okay.
One last question, and this is
Sure.
for the citizens of Aransas Pass, because I'm sure they're all asking this question. It's very clear our rates are going to go up.
Right.
What about your heavy industrial and so forth? Will their rates go up to the same percentage as ours?
They will.
Or more, considering they use a lot more water than residents? How are y'all going to do that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I've been city manager for 6.5 years, and there was a lot to do in my first couple of years. Roads was a top priority, but one thing I knew coming in to the position was the water rate charges for the customer classifications were not set appropriately. In other words, large volume users, industrial users, like Valero and Flint Hills and Citgo and Cheniere, and they had a water rate that was about 50% what we should be charging them. Yeah, and so 3 years ago, we doubled the rate for those large volume users, not because we wanted to, but that's what our new rate modeler said it should be. So I can say here today with confidence that they're paying their fair share. The heavy users are, the heavy industrial users. So their rates will go up just as much as anybody else's rates will. They pay for, we have a cost for service model, so they pay for everything that you and I pay for, with the exception of things like neighborhood transmission, the lines in the neighborhoods that may need repair, or say the call center, the customer care center. But they pay for all the treatment, all the large volume distribution, all the raw water charges. And so right now the rate structure is that it's an equal footing, but you pay more if you use more water. So large volume users like Exxon, like Flint Hills and Valero pay a lot more than you and I, and actually help to bring down the cost for water for us because they're paying so much to the fixed costs, things like the treatment plant and the big trunk lines and the dam maintenances. So right now we don't have a rate that puts their water higher. In fact, that's not really allowed by the state through the Public Utilities Commission. We have to be able to justify the rate. And we do have a rate now, though, that I'm happy to report is equitable and fair. And for many years, probably decades, it wasn't, but now it is. So the more they use, the more revenue comes in, meaning the less that we have to charge to other customers. But rates will go up. I mean, one thing in our community, I really should have the answers, and I haven't asked staff for it, but if you look at other major cities in Texas, we usually compare ourselves to the 7 largest cities above us. Their water bills are probably higher than ours. We have a decent water bill, but with that comes where we're at today. We don't have a diversification in supply. We don't have backup supplies. We don't. If you travel north from here all the way up to Dallas, there's green lawns everywhere, right? So we want to be in a place where we actually probably have too much water and supplies that we might not use, but they're there if we need to use them, like a groundwater project. And so the goal is to have that so we never get into this situation again. I wouldn't wish this on any city manager, any city council, any mayor. The fact that residential accounts have been in curtailment for 2 years in our city, and probably yours as well, meaning we can't use water for irrigating outside. We can't really fill swimming pools, that type of thing. So we shouldn't be in this position. And our goal, my job and Nick's job and the city council's job in Corpus Christi is to make sure we don't get into this position again, which comes from droughts, which we know is cyclical. Every 5 to 7 years they return. So that to say water rates will go up to pay for some of these sources, but as Nick said, we're relying on state loans and free money from the state grants, so that we don't have to pay that, and that helps keep our rates low.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think you just answered it, Peter. If we get more rain than we need next year, the lakes fill up and everything's hunky-dory.
Right.
We're still going to go through with these plants and desal plants and not just drop it.
Right. I would agree with that, Councilman. Yeah, we need to. The city. Recently, the question at our city council has been, how much is enough? When is enough enough? And the answer for me, just without doing a lot of, we're going to study this to get a better answer. But we should always have too much, because you never know when those western reservoirs do what they've just done, drop from 60, 70, 80% down to 10%. That's ridiculous. Those were the workhorses of the city's water supply, and now they're gone. And now we're scrambling to replace 70 million gallons of water every day. Mm-hmm. This region should not be in this predicament. We should be able to say, okay, there's no rain coming in over here, so let's turn on this supply, let's turn this one up, and let's use this one we hadn't used in a couple of years. That's what other cities are doing. Just a couple hours up the road, San Antonio has over a dozen water sources, distinct water sources, not just the same, surface water. So we're working to do that, and we have to do it economically. We understand that part. We can't have water bills quadruple, but I think we have to, as a region, grapple with this notion that we might pay just a little bit more for low risk, so that when one water source isn't there, you just turn the other one on. So we need redundancy and resiliency, and we're going to manage that when it comes to the rate. But that should be the goal. That's my goal. And that should be the goal of the region, so we don't end up in the situation when I drive to work and back. It's about all I can do. It's the views are terrible. Brown lawn everywhere, dead landscaping. You know, and the fear of this curtailment thing that we're trying to let people know, you know, everything's going to be okay, but nobody wants to be in that situation. Mhm. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Everybody good? Well, I just want to say thank you, Peter and Nick. This is where everybody here, everybody's been worried about this, and this is more information. I mean, when me and Mary went to Rockport, you guys were spewing out stuff that I didn't even know, and I've been paying attention to this like a hawk for over a month. And I'll definitely stay in contact with you. That way, you know, I can come back, pass the word to staff, and we can get it out to people in the pub. But thank you again, guys.
Okay. That's good. And we'll come back maybe in a quarter or something.
Sure,
Another
yeah.
couple of months.
I'll hold you to it.
What's that?
I'll hold you to it.
Okay, yeah, we
So,
will.
good.
We'll be back.
Mr.
Yes.
Okay.
Seacock.
We appreciate y'all coming.
Okay.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Dennis?
Thank you.
Well,
Something was used years ago, back in Vietnam, and that was iodine crystal, blown by aircraft. That same iodine crystal was used with Hurricane Celia in 1970. Is it possible to produce the rainfall that's necessary to generate the rain where we need it?
One of our news stations continues to ask us that. So what the gentleman's referring to is cloud seeding. You may have heard that. So we haven't looked too much into cloud seeding yet, but we may look into it. A lot of people, well, some people have consistently asked us about it. My first observation or response is the inflow, the recharge area is huge. You know,
Yes.
for the Nueces River, which is the primary source for those two big reservoirs. So it has to fall in the rain has to fall in a huge spot when the lakes are just right here. You know, so yeah.
Did you notice that during a storm that was produced, that it didn't have the proper effect that it was needed to keep the storm from getting out of control?
Yeah.
The purpose of the interior rain was to kill the motion of the storm as it hit Corpus in
Okay.
1970.
Okay.
Following that, there was another request because of drought conditions in the Panhandle. And they used the same method, and they flooded the city out. That was in the Panhandle. of
Okay.
Texas.
Yeah, we'll look into that though. The cloud seeding. I mean, we're looking at just about everything.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
Mayor?
All right. Wait, he's leaving, he's smart. Okay, all right, well, if we have no more questions, we're gonna take a 10-minute recess. Okay, we're going. Okay, we're going to reconvene. And now we're going to move into announcements.
We have two announcements on the agenda today. The first one is, this is a reminder that we're having a special council meeting this Wednesday at 6:15. We have several discussion items. The second announcement is, it's that time of the year again. Our annual fall feast is this Thursday, November the 20th. The doors will open at 5 o'clock and dinner will be served at 5:30. The dinner will be served by Butter Churn, and we invite everyone to come out and enjoy a good meal.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay,
Wait,
and
somebody has a question.
For those meals, do they have to bring anything?
No, it's a free community event.
okay. And I don't think we have any staff reports.
There are some monthly department reports, but they were submitted in your packet.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, and now we're going to move into citizens' comments.
Okay, here we go. Not long ago, I was watching NCIS Origins. It was a crossover event that went back 30 years. In that story, a town ignored the warning signs. They didn't take precautions about running out of water. And when the wells ran dry, they had to start cutting deals they couldn't afford. In the end, the town was ruined. That wasn't just television, that was art imitating life. We face the same challenge now. The solution is staring us in the eye, but the question is whether we will act. I'll be honest, I'm not a big opponent of the water rate. But if we don't do something now, the water rate will be even higher tomorrow. Water is just not a bill we pay. It is the lifeblood of our community. Without it, families suffer, business falters, and the very identity of our town erodes. My worry is this: by the time the Nueces River Authority desalination plant comes online in 2029, it may already be too late. I believe the plant is being done right, with the discharge going into the Gulf and diffuser being put on it. That is the long-term answer, but it cannot be the only answer. We must act now with short-term stopgaps, expand conservation programs, invest in leak detection stuff. These steps buy us time, protect us from running out, and sure, we will control our water, not another town. Why buy from the middleman, Corpus Christi, when we can secure our own future? So let us learn from that fictional town and from countless rural ones across history. The story doesn't have to end in ruin. It can end in resilience, but only if we write the chapter now. And I leave you with this challenge. Which chapter will we choose, ruin or resilience? The answer depends on what we do today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Will.
Jason, could you have them say their name and they go up there?
Good evening. My name is Maria Halloran, also known as Meadow. I'm here because we are hoping to get clarity on a community garden's account balance. The numbers we have do not match the numbers on the statement we received back in July 16, 2025, and we would really appreciate some clarification. We were informed that Hector Rios' donations of $200 and $400 were too far back to reflect in the current account. This donation was done in 2023, and we simply want to make sure they are included in the accounting. For the record, here are the donations we have documented. Hector Rios, $200 plus $400 in check. Rosa Beatty, $100 in check. $244 in cash from fundraisers from VFW, Salsa Fest, and Mardi Gras. $34 from Cash App and Venmo, cashed out and turned in. This brings in the total to $978. After subtracting two reimbursements for May's Education Workshop items, $1997, and $601, our balance comes to $952.02 before August 2025. However, the account statement we received on July 16, 2025 shows different numbers of 330, 60, and 20, and a total of 662.33. These figures do not match what we have on our end. Additionally, I would like to take note that Larissa Rios reached out to Mary through Jason's request on Friday and has not received a call back or email today regarding the issue. And she also just texted me that Sandra just told her something just now. We are simply requesting a clear and complete reconciliation so we can understand where these numbers come from and ensure everything is accurate. We truly appreciate everyone's time and effort. We just want to make sure the garden's finances are transparent and correct for the good of the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I did receive a call from Ms. Rios on Friday, and I know Ms. Garcia was working on that. She did give me a response late today. I had not had a chance to call Ms. Rios.
Okay.
Yes, I was out of town last week.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't here, so I do apologize for the delay in getting her that information, but we did track down the donations that she mentioned here tonight. There may be some additional expenditures. They may not have been listed, but the city manager does have that, and I did speak with her right by
Meadow.
coincidence during the break, and I did let her know that, okay, Mary's going to call you. I gave her that information that you requested, so
All right.
yes. Okay?
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra.
I'll
Appreciate
get
it.
her that information.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. Okay.
My name's Jamie. I'm a citizen of Aransas Pass. Mayor, council members.
Ma'am?
Yes?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you now?
No, I think your mic's turned off.
It's green. What do I push?
Yeah, as long as it's green, you're good.
All right.
There,
Closer? There? All right. Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here today because I believe a line was crossed and it deserves to be addressed openly. I'm a member of the Elite 100's Women's Society, an organization made up of women from across San Patricio County, cities of Aransas Pass, Ingleside, Portland, and Sinton. We invest our time, resources, and energy into supporting nonprofits that directly serve this county. The work is real, and so is the impact. That's why the recent comments made by a few members of this council were very disheartening. Publicly degrading a charitable event on Facebook simply because you weren't included was unprofessional, unnecessary, and below the standard expected of elected leaders. A post highlighting the hard work of these women and showcasing the incredible efforts of local nonprofits had to ultimately be deleted because of negativity. The harm came from negative that was amplified by those comments. As women in leadership roles, publicly undermine other women who are volunteering their time is both disappointing and damaging. This isn't about hurt feelings. When elected officials use their platforms to disparage volunteers in charitable efforts, it discourages community involvement, erodes trust, and sends a message that good work may be criticized if it doesn't revolve around certain people. That's not leadership and does not build a stronger community. A public apology from these council members who made these comments would go a long way in correcting the record, restoring trust and showing that this council values partnership, fairness, and respect for those who serve our community. Our volunteers deserve encouragement, not ridicule. Our citizens deserve leaders who rise above personal grievances, who act with integrity, and who recognize that community progress depends on all of us pulling together. Every group is doing good work, should be supported, celebrated, and uplifted, regardless of personal feelings. Our community thrives when we lift our volunteers up, not tear them down. I hope today can be a step towards healing and towards setting a higher standard for how we engage with one another, both in person and on social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Can we clap too?
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, now we're going to move into the consent agenda. And approval of the August 4th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, approval of August 13th, 2025 special council meeting minutes, approval of August 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, and approval of November 3rd, 2025 regular meeting minutes. And do we have a motion?
I make a motion for the approval of the August 4, 2025 regular meeting minutes, approval of the August 13th, 2025 special council meeting minutes, approval of the August 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, and approval of the November 3rd, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to move into a public hearing. And public hearing for a request to rezone a property currently zoned as A2 Apartment Dwelling District to GB General Business by applicant Andrew Phillips, located at 126 South Houston, Aransas Pass, Texas, legally described as property ID 36239, City of Aransas Pass, Town Site, Block 482, Lot 2526, 0.16 acres, San Patricio County, Aransas Pass, Texas. And it is 7:21, and I declare it as public hearing open.
Evening, Mayor and Council. So, as the title states, the applicant wants to go from A2 Apartment Dwelling District to a general business. On the property, there is currently a structure, a house. He wants to be using it for office space.
Where is it?
Right now, it is zoned as A2 Apartment Dwelling. Down that street in that entire apartment dwelling district, no apartments are being used.
Elise, do you know where that's at? Because it's South Houston?
It's behind
No.
McGraw.
What's around the property? Is it houses? Is it residential?
It's residential.
Residential houses.
It's residential
behind
houses?
McGraw.
Yes, Councilman.
And what kind of business is he wanting to put there?
Office space.
Insurance, okay.
Well, he
Office
mentioned
space that could
potentially
be
insurance.
used as
It could be
insurance.
whatever at some
Yeah,
point.
it could be used anyway, just office space though.
How did public,
Yeah, did we have any?
PNC
planning and zoning, that one,
Planning
how
and
did they
Zoning
vote on
Commission
it?
did approve for it to go forward.
Okay, was it unanimous?
We did send out notices to the surrounding area, 500 feet. Yeah, 500 feet.
Nothing came back?
And no complaints or nothing that would disagree with us.
Okay.
Guys, I did go out there before the planning and zoning meeting, and in front of it is McGraw and Commercial. On one
I
side
know what you
is San Patricio,
The annex?
the annex.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, I believe a house, and then him, and then a dilapidated house that needs to come down. And then
There's two there, right?
the body shop for McGraw, and then it's residential.
I'm on that
He
building
did
there.
say a very small office space, maybe 1 or 2 offices. So I don't see how it would be, as far as tax rate, it won't hurt the citizens or their property
Exactly.
values.
No, and I
I
think
do
those
believe
been rent houses
I know what you're
one or
forever
two
right there.
properties down, it's GB also.
Yeah, now that you've
It's
explained the
sitting
area.
right on
that
the
makes
edge
more
of it.
sense.
Okay.
Joseph, do you see any issues with it?
I don't, council member.
Okay. And you said nobody responded?
We had one response just asking what's going to be going into the property, and we discussed office space most likely, and they didn't have a problem with it.
Okay, that's the main thing.
Okay.
Neighbors seem fine.
All right.
I'm okay with it, too.
Anybody else wish to speak on this? Okay, well, it's 7:24, and I declare this public hearing closed. And now we're going to consider an act to approve an ordinance rezoning a property currently zoned as A2 Apartment Dwelling District to GB General Business by applicant Andrew Phillips, located at 128 South Houston, Aransas Pass,
126.
Texas.
126.
Oh, 126, I'm going blind, sorry. South Houston, Aransas Pass, Texas, legally described as property ID 36239, City of Aransas Pass, Town Site, Block 482, Lot 2526, 0.16 acres, San Patricio County, Aransas Pass, Texas. And do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance rezoning a property currently zoned as A2 Apartment Dwelling District to GB General Business by applicant Andrew Phillips, located at 126 South Houston, Aransas Pass, Texas, legally described as property ID 36239, City of Aransas Pass, Town Site, Block 482, Lot 2526, .16 acres, San Patricio County, Aransas Pass, Texas.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving right along, we're going to action items and consider an act on issuing a RFP, request for proposals for disaster recovery consulting services.
I'm sorry, my items are usually towards the end. This is just, we currently had a contract with H2O. That's a company that we hired when Harvey hit to help us with what they call public assistance in FEMA. And they really were very knowledgeable and very helpful in getting us the majority of our money back and everything. Our contract with them has since expired. So now we do need to go out and procure services again. Hurricane season, I think, is over. I'm not sure. But hopefully we don't get one.
Right.
But yes, this is the perfect time to go out and procure these services. So we are asking for permission to issue the RFP, and then we'll bring you back the company that we've selected for that.
And it's already budgeted.
It's not a budgeted item because they are only used when there is a
When they're
disaster.
needed.
When there is a disaster that is declared, we will bring them in, and they will help us through the process of getting the paperwork to FEMA, getting our reimbursement. Perfect example, we were FEMA was denying a certain part of the bulkhead project, and we hired them back up to help us in the appeal process, and they were very successful in getting us the appeal granted. So it's only in case of an emergency, and most of the time when there is an emergency of that nature that would call for that, then you're looking at FEMA, the federal government, coming in and saying, okay, we're going to cover 75, 80, 90% of it. The city is responsible for 10%, and then sometimes the state will come in and say, okay, we're going to give you X percent of the 10%, and it becomes a very minimal amount that we end up having to spend out of pocket to get all those millions and millions of dollars back into the community.
Okay.
So when we do bring them on board, do we pay them up front, or do we
No.
send that reimbursement?
No, they wait till the end.
So we're just securing them, right?
They know, no. So when we first work with them, what happens is we'll work on the projects, and then towards the end, once the projects are wrapping up, that their work has dwindled, they were very instrumental in helping us do what we call the Category B, which is the emergency disaster, which is the very first phase of the disaster. The reimbursement. So then after all of those paperwork are submitted, then they will start paying them off on the invoices as we're getting money from FEMA. We'll request money up front from FEMA to give us to pay them, and that's how they get paid. Well, that's how they got paid during Harvey, because, financially we weren't.
This just secures that we'll have them in place.
We'll have somebody. We
Somebody.
don't know if it's H2O. We don't
But
know if they're
just
going to
somebody,
submit.
or whoever.
Yes,
Yeah.
whoever.
Okay.
Yes, it just secures that whenever there is a disaster, we have somebody in place that will come and facilitate and assist staff in getting the paperwork done and filing everything.
And Sandra, only because I don't know, is that standard operating procedure that they wait until the monies are received in, or is that just something special, an agreement that we have with H2O?
That was something that we had with most of our vendors, not just H2O, with the debris contractors, with the debris management. Unfortunately, at the time when Harvey hit, we weren't in the best financial situation, and we were very upfront with our vendors about that at that time, and they were very gracious to help us and wait on payment. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to issue requests for proposals for RFP for disaster and recovery consulting services.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Okay, now we're going to consider an act on a resolution casting votes to the San Patricio County Appraisal District Board of Directors for term year 2026 through 2027.
I believe Mr. Hernandez is going to present this item.
Mayor, Council, so you have before you the official ballot from the San Pat Appraisal District. total, this council has 126 votes. Don't ask me to explain how they figure that out. What basically we're looking at is you have an opportunity here to cast votes for any one of these candidates. One example would be if you just decided to just support your nominated Aransas Pass nominees here. You would there's 5 of them here, so you just would divide that up by 25 votes each, or however you feel you want to do it. There's just there's, like I said, you have 126 votes to divide up, or you can give them all to one person if you wanted to. It just depends on how the council wants to proceed.
Okay, I can see 3. This is me. I could see Terry Stansberry, Mark Roach, and Bill T. Wilson.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna, where's the ballot at? I don't have one.
Get your PDF in there.
That's it right there.
I just put the ballot on the screen.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. Like I can see that.
Yeah, you can see it.
I know, it's like, I can't really see it either.
No.
Votes right now.
Huh?
To give them the votes right now.
We're not doing anything right now, are we?
Yeah, right now.
Right now, but I still don't see one.
Oh, no, she said there.
If council wishes, we can go and grab just a couple paper copies if that's going to help you.
I'll take it. I'll take a paper copy.
Okay, you want to give me just a
Yes.
moment?
Yes,
All right.
yes, sir,
Give me
please.
one moment.
No, mine's not on here. It's not on here. Oh, well.
Who were your nominees, Mayor?
Mark Roach, Terry Stansberry, and Bill T. Wilson.
Yeah, no.
I'd like to abstain from voting. I don't know any of them, and I don't feel it'd be appropriate for me to vote for somebody I don't know or know anything about them.
Okay, so then you'd be a no vote, okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sal.
Can we vote, if we don't want to pick 3, could we just select 2? If that's the only thing,
Yes, you can select 2 and then just distribute. So then if you did 2, then the votes would be, I think, 63 and 63, or however you want to
Okay,
distribute the votes.
I'm going to select Mark Roach and Terry Stansberry. And I don't have a third option.
Is that how the council is that,
No, that, Jason's already done his, he selected 3.
okay.
Yeah, I know Bill Wilson. He's been on there a while, and he's
I don't know
he's
him.
good on that board.
I'll select Mark Roach, Terry Stansberry, and Bill Wilson.
I'll select the 3 as well.
Okay, who wants to make the motion?
Where's it at, and I'll make it. Make a motion, we consider the act on resolution casting votes to the San Patricio County Appraisal District Board of Directors for the term of 2026-27, naming Mark Roach, Terry Stansberry, and Bill T. Wilson.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second.
Second.
That would be, I'm sorry, that would be 42 votes apiece then, right?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and before we move to the next one, As everybody here knows, it's been a hot topic in town. I mean, you can't get around it. And I can personally say, I support the chamber. This council supports the chamber. We need the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, we need it more than ever because my job's something I ran on, and I mean it to heart. We're trying to get new businesses in here, so it has to be a partnership between the chamber and the city. And this is another bump in the road. I've been sitting up here quite a few years, and I've been across some major bumps. And I mean, everybody here knows each other. The main thing we got to do is keep the line of communication over and put the speculation around and go straight to the source. If you hear something, you can call me, and you can reach out to anybody else up here because we have to work together. I mean, there's no way, two ways around it. And I know Rosemary's watching, and she's probably a little on edge. And I mean, I support Rosemary, support the chamber, and yeah, we got to get through this, and I know we all can together. So with that being said, we're going to move into consider and act on request for an audit of the hotel occupancy tax hot funds awarded to Aransas Pass Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center for publicity and tourism, from Councilmember Chacon.
Okay, I just want to start out by saying this is just a checks and balances. It's just to see where the money's going, how it's being allocated. I priorly have met with Rosemary, even if you go back to the August 4th meeting when they first came in front of us to renew the contract. I said I wanted to see some more detailed allocations of where the money was going. She gave some other reports. I told her even in a private meeting with the city manager that I'd like to see it a little more detailed. I want it more broken down. What were we spending things on? This is just so we're really trying hard to revamp the city and to spruce it up and do what we can with the hot funds. And if we don't know what it's being spent on, we can't do that, and we can't budget for it. We have budgets coming up for it, or open, I don't even know what you call it, enrollment for hot funds is going to be coming up in January, and we don't know how to budget because I don't know what it's getting spent on. And I was told that it was too much work to be given to me, and that basically I just have to trust. And this just comes down to transparency. Transparency creates trust. And with transparency, you don't need trust. And that's it. It's just a checks and balances. It's nothing else. And it's just to see where the money's going because we have no idea. And that's really it.
I did want to mention, Mayor, before you started to make your comments, we did receive a letter from their attorney, from the Chamber's attorney, asking that this item be postponed until December 1st. But that's up to the council's discretion. I know that Mr. Isasi did issue an opinion that I believe we can go forward.
Yes, I mean, this is totally within the council's purview. You can go forward at this point. We're not requesting that the chamber conduct an audit themselves. We're saying, okay, we want to conduct an audit. You know, and you have a right to do that pursuant to Section 351.01D, subsection D of the local tax code. You're entitled to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'd like to say something also. I've been on this council for almost 2 years. 2 years ago, I requested an audit of the Chamber of Commerce, not because I felt that anything was wrong. It was because I felt that we needed checks and balances also. I want to say something that I think Elise forgot to say. If you are an employer and you give your employees some money to go buy something for you, you want that receipt for what they paid for it, and you want to change back, be correctly. We only want to know where the money's going, how much is being spent for what, and sometimes why. If we give it to you, we want to know what it is. I know there's a bunch of y'all in here that are going to talk derogatorily about this, but if you stop and think about it, if you're business people, if you're parents that give your kids money, if you have anything to do with money, you would do the same thing. And that's our business. That's what we have to do because that's your money. That's the citizens' money out here that's being spent. And the citizens depend on us to make sure their money is spent correctly. It's tax dollars.
We're obligated.
We're obligated, that's
to know
correct.
where this money's going. And there's no, I've had a lot of things that were sent to me over the weekend. Nobody is trying to dismantle the chamber. Nobody is trying to take it over. Nobody wants to go and run festivals and do all the things. I happen to love the events and the stuff the chamber does. This is not anything personal. It's just checks and balances. That is it. And any other narrative that's been put out there, whoever told you, you need to ask them where it came from, because that's all it is checks and balances. And I really don't have anything else to say on it, except for that I'd like to, does anyone else have anything to say on it?
I'd just like to continue saying that you guys would do the same thing if you were in our position. The council, the chamber would do the same thing to any money they gave to a council person. I'm sorry, the chamber would do the same thing that they put money out for something they would want receipts back. We don't know where this is coming from or why. If it's business and that's all it is. We have nothing against the chamber. And everybody's acting like that we're going to go after them, and they're calling for lawyers and everybody else. And I'm sitting here asking myself, why? Just give us the receipts, tell us what you're doing, let's move on with business. That's all we're asking to be done. We don't want anything else. With that, it's up to y'all.
Does anybody else wish to speak on this?
Can you state your name, please?
Will Garner, 2009 West Wheeler Avenue, Lot 86. Good evening. I want to speak about the importance of auditing our Chamber of Commerce use of hot funds. These funds are meant to promote tourism and bring in overnight visitors. People who stay in our hotels, eat at our restaurants, and shop in our stores. That's true return on investments we should be measuring. Right now, I don't believe we're seeing the return on investment. Let me give you an example. My mother came down from East Texas during Shrimpery weekend. She chose not to attend it because she didn't want to pay for parking and pay to go shopping. Instead, we went to Rockport's Festival, where she spent money and supported their local economy. That's a missed opportunity for Aranda's Pass. I want to be clear. I am all for a Chamber of Commerce run right. But honestly, I'm kind of tired of this chamber seeing the citizens as a personal piggy bank. If we were serious about ROI, we need to look beyond day trippers for nearby towns. For this community, ROI means attracting people who stay overnight, who fill our hotels, and who spend money here. What I've seen, the Fisher's tournaments consistently accomplish that. So I'm asking for a thorough audit, just not of the dollars spent, but of the impact. Let's track how many true out-of-towners visitors we're bringing in, how many nights they stay, and how much they spend. Then compare that to the hot fund invested. Only then will we know if the Shrimpery or other events are truly worth the cost. We owe it to the taxpayers to ensure these funds are used effectively. Let's make sure our investments bring real returns to Aranda's Pass, not just activity without impact. And I'll close with this. If the chamber is scared to be audited, it makes me as a taxpayer wonder what they are hiding. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Has anybody else? Oh, come on, Nancy.
Good evening, Council. Jason. Everybody. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm Nancy Allen, and I live at 804 South Commercial. I've lived here for a very long time. I've been on the Chamber Board, and I'd like to say any of these festivals that we have, whether it's Shrimpery or our the thing downtown.
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Mardi Gras. Check the motels to see if you can get a room. You can't get a room. They're booked. That's where the hot funds come from, sir. Okay. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Ms.
y'all.
Thank you, Miss Allen.
Nancy, and I will say that is true, because there was a time where I tried to get a hotel room years ago and you couldn't. So that is a true fact. I would like to say something. I 100% support the chamber on everything they do when I can. And if I can't attend, please know you're in my heart, and I would love to be there with you. But Steve and I also have a business that we run, so there are times where I cannot be there. I don't know why the attorney, none of my business. They're asking for 2 weeks. It's not the end of the world. I say, give them the 2 weeks. They want 2 weeks. Well, again, I don't know why. They have a reason. I don't see it, our life ending today, giving them 2 weeks. But I'm not the only decision maker here.
The 2 weeks isn't going to make a difference because it'll be 2 weeks before anyone's
Right,
hired.
so they're asking for 2 weeks. Let's give them
No.
2 weeks.
Jason? So the reports were given to y'all
Hey,
last
do me a
week.
favor, Joe, state your name real quick.
Oh, sorry, Joe Dominguez.
Thanks, Joe.
Chairman to the Aransas Pass Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. All the reports were submitted last week for the audit. I'm not even sure why we're on the agenda tonight. But I do want to say, I've been a member for 7 years, and I support the chamber 100%. So with that, you know, I don't know what else you're looking for.
I'll answer. The reports that were given were the exact ones I asked for back in August, and had they been given to me, then I could have asked questions on them, but I was told that it would take too much time. What Rosemary doesn't understand, though, is that I'm very familiar with QuickBooks. Those reports take about 30 seconds to generate, and they take longer to print. So when we had our meeting and she refused to give them to me, it let me know that there was no reason to keep pestering or to further ask for them. I knew how to get them, and this is how I have to get them. And the reason she gave them last week was because it was on the agenda that we were going to go ahead and go with an audit.
Okay, so without going into strict detail, now you hold on.
No, hold on.
There's two different entities in here. There's a Chamber of Commerce and the Visiting Center.
Exactly, and we're not auditing the chamber.
Correct.
This is about the visitor center, and this is about the money that the hot funds go to. It's the same thing, Joe. You own a business?
Correct.
Is somebody going to pay you without an invoice?
If somebody came and audited my business, I can give you.
Can you give receipts?
I can give you receipts.
Okay, would you throw
But
a
I'm
fit
not.
if
I'm
a
not going to
customer
give.
asks for a receipt?
I'm not going to give you the blueprint to my business.
There's no blueprint.
That's all I got to say.
Okay, there's no blueprint. Nobody's trying to take this chamber's business. There's
I didn't
it's
say that
public.
either.
First and foremost, when you take government money, it is our right and it is our obligation to the citizens to know where that money's going. And if you
Correct.
don't want us to know where it's going, then you shouldn't
No,
give
you
government money.
have it.
No, let me read
No,
something
you
to you.
have- you have
I'm gonna
all the
read something
records.
to you. This is it right here. It's Subchapter B, Section 351 of the Texas Tax Code. A person with whom a municipality contracts under this section to conduct an activity authorized by this section shall maintain complete and accurate financial records of each expenditure of hotel occupancy tax revenue made by the person and on request of the governing body of the municipality or other person, shall make records available for inspection and review to the governing body or other person. If the IRS came in and audited you, are you not going to give receipts because you don't want them to see that you bought your stuff from O'Reilly's?
No,
That's
I don't even.
ridiculous. That's
I don't even do that.
No.
But no, it's not the same.
I'm going to make a motion.
Mr. Cohn, when did I give you the reports? When did Rosemary?
Maybe Wednesday?
Was it?
No. What day
Was
did
it Monday?
what day did the agenda?
The agenda got posted on Tuesday, and I believe I gave you the reports. She gave us the reports on Monday.
Monday?
Yes, the agenda was posted on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But
I mean,
these were
you don't
asked
have
for.
everything.
These reports were asked back last year in 2024 by Randy, and they weren't giving them to him. We are only asking for things that were never given to us. We wouldn't have to do this if it was just given to us. If she would have given me the same reports in August, none of this would be going on because I would have looked at them, I would have had questions, and I would have picked up the phone and said, hey, Rosemary, what does this mean? And she would have told me whatever she wanted, and I would have probably taken her word for it because I would have thought, well, she's being transparent. She's not hiding anything. She made it very clear that this is how, and this is the route we have to go to get the receipts. That's it. It's receipts, it's checks and balances. There is no agenda to get any kind of, I don't even know what it is you're trying to say, like marketing strategy. It's ridiculous.
All I know is that y'all
It's-
have the information. And I just wanted to let everybody
Well,
know
then you
that.
should have nothing to hide. Then you should have nothing. This should be so easy. You should be like, please do this so that everyone can quit criticizing y'all. It should be that simple. This is not that hard. It is literally receipts. When you go to the bank and you make a deposit with $500 cash and you send that deposit slip in, do you think that the teller counts the money? You bet they do, and you bet you're going to ask for a receipt because you know it was cash and you want a copy of that receipt to know that you deposited it in case later it doesn't show up in your account. It is the same concept. That's all we're asking for. Nothing else. I don't know why.
You have that. All of y'all have that already.
We don't have that. I don't have one receipt. I've never received. I don't have one receipt.
And Mary,
I am
I'd like
telling
to
you right
see
now, I
that
do not
haven't
have
seen
one
anything.
receipt.
No.
I haven't seen anything at
No,
all.
you have not seen, what Ms. Vega provided last Monday was the reports.
Okay.
There's not one receipt attached.
I was told it was confidential to you and Elise, so I haven't looked at I haven't had a chance to review the report. Like, I don't know.
It's a QuickBooks transaction detailed report, which is the information that she inputs into a computer, and that is it. I have not seen one receipt. Nothing.
I do
Not
wanna
one
clarify.
bank statement. Not one deposit.
She did not ask for receipts, she asked for a breakdown of expenditures, which could be produced through the QuickBooks, just for
Yes,
clarification.
and that's what that would have been, and then.
And that didn't happen. Yes, Cherie, the report was submitted twice. I understand what you're saying, but not to the format that she requested of the breakdown.
It was
which
reported this week,
could be
too.
this through QuickBooks.
And now I want to see receipts to see if they match.
So again, nobody here wants to dismantle the chamber. And this is not the first time you've heard me say this. Every town needs a chamber. Every town needs a chamber that we can work with.
I love
Well,
the
I
things y'all do.
appreciate
don't,
that, so-
And I mean it
bizarre.
wholeheartedly, I do.
It's absolutely
I really
bizarre.
do mean it. You know, without a chamber, you don't really have a city. You have a bunch of people that conglomerate together. A chamber is the one that propels a city with its constituents, with its citizens. So we have to be able to work together, guys. If, this is Elise's baby. If she wants a QuickBook broken down transaction,
Well, I want more now.
why can't
Sorry.
she have it?
said our behavior's bizarre?
It's very bizarre.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mary,
Sharice,
asking for
Sharice, either
receipts.
come to the podium or.
Ours is, we
be
are within
quiet.
our legal rights.
Mary, I
We are
have a
doing, I have
question.
spoken with.
Hang on. We need a little order in here.
Thank you.
I just have a question for Mary. You sent us an update last week, and it showed a decrease in sales tax. What was that number
I
that you
believe that was
sent?
137,000. That was in sales tax.
And sales tax for the city. Is an indicator of how our HOP funds are spent, is that up, like, could it be an indicator of that decrease in sales tax
No, I
for the
believe,
city?
I think the reason for the decrease in sales tax is probably related to the economy.
Okay, okay. That was the only question I had.
And I just want to let y'all know,
wanna-
I have spoken with TML, I have spoken with the Texas Comptroller, and I have double-checked and talked with our city attorney. In the Texas Tax Code 351, this is all within the rights of the government body to ask for these receipts. That is it. We are asking for checks and balances. It is nothing that you wouldn't ask your own child for. If you gave your child $100 and you sent them to the store for milk and bread, and they came back and gave you $5, you would say, something's wrong with this, can you please show me a receipt? Well, you probably wouldn't even say, please, give me the receipt. Because either they just got ripped off or they're ripping you off. That's it.
So
All we're trying to do is checks and balances.
So at this point, what you're wanting is receipts, or you wanting to go forward with?
I'm
an
wanting to
audit?
go forward.
With?
We have somebody
I
else
wanna-
that
I
wants
was
to
just
go
speak.
ahead,
let's
Jamie.
go ahead and let them.
Hi, Jamie Goyer, 1997 Lighthouse Lakes Lane. I do have a question. I agree totally with an audit and knowing checks and balances. Is this going to be a third party that's going to cost taxpayers money?
This is going to be a third party that goes through us, though. Yes.
What's that mean? Who's paying?
I mean, well, we
Because they
won't-
already do an audit, right?
Yes,
An audit's
yes, it
already
will-
done every
It will cost
year.
money. Yes, it will.
It's going to cost money.
It will.
So I'm just going to say this. We're hurting. And you guys all ran right, on being good stewards of our funds, right? We need a partnership, positive partnership between our council and our chamber. What message is this sending?
That there was no transparency.
What
in the request.
message is this sending? What message is it when you see certain Facebook members degrading the chamber over and over on Facebook? When you sit up here and you say you support, and I know some of you haven't done it, plenty have. There's been plenty of degrading on Facebook. What message does that send? And then all of a sudden this audit, in addition to an audit that's already done, I understand you asked, you said twice, or she sent it twice, may not be exactly what it was. Let's ask a third time to make sure. Maybe she didn't understand. I don't know the details, but I, for one, as a taxpayer,
Honestly, I'm
With-
done with the
I think
conversation. It's time
there's
to move
two
on.
things. I mean, I think there's the issue of the receipts and then the issue of the audit.
I want to
It-
I want a third-party person to look at the receipts because I'm not a professional.
So you don't
and I
want.
need
so-
their expertise.
So even
to
though
look
if she were to provide the receipts, you still
No, if I
want to
would
go
have
forward?
had, I don't know, if she would have provided the stuff back in August, I don't know where we would be at with this,
okay.
to be honest. I knew that getting receipts wasn't gonna happen because I already asked for the reports, the transaction detail, and I didn't get that. So, in order to move forward and to see where our money is going, we need receipts because nothing was given.
But if she's willing to provide the receipts.
I still would like to move forward. I already see the cooperation.
All right, okay. So then the item that's on.
But one thing is that, under this code, and even under the agreement between the city and the chamber, if you look at section 5 of that agreement, management of funds, it says that they will comply with subchapter B of 351 of the tax code, right? And
Yes,
what
that's
we're
in their
talking about,
contract.
And that's what you read, that they're obligated upon a request from the city to give them those receipts, give them the documentation, the information, so that now you can review all that. And with that, what you get, you're gonna request, okay, do you have a receipt and that you pay out? And what did you pay out for? And normally you get an invoice and you get a check attached to that. That's what pretty much we do. You get the invoice and you send out a check where it's paid, and then when it comes back cashed, right? It's so
Exactly.
easy to follow with all the expenses. I mean, I would think that that's the way it's being handled. And it's so simple to trace, but at this point,
I
they're
think.
obligated to give you this information.
Yeah, I think she is willing to do the receipts, but Ms. Chacon is asking for an audit. So there's two different things. There's the receipts and the audit.
Well, I think once the audit is ordered, that will be up to the third party to ask for what they need to see. And I'm
Okay.
assuming it will be receipts and bank statements and whatever needs to be done because that's where I'm at on it.
Okay, which is the audit.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
All right, so the action that's on the agenda today is to, I guess, accept the request from Councilmember Chacon to request an audit for the hot funds awarded to the visitor center, or the
Correct.
chamber and the visitor center.
Correct.
That's the action that's on the agenda, is to
Yes.
accept Councilmember's request for that audit.
And then the next step would be the price of it.
Well, that
Well,
will come in the
then,
next
I mean,
meeting.
if that passes, then there's a second part.
Okay, so can I go ahead?
Well, I believe we have to vote on the action that's on the agenda to
Yeah.
accept your request for the audit.
But I can make a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion directing the city
Well,
manager.
we have to
Which
accept
one?
the request that's on the agenda first.
Sure.
Hello, Council. Larissa Rios, 1044 South Commercial. Citizens have asked for years why we only have 3 to 5 large events of each year. Audits verify the accuracy of financial accounts and ensure compliance with laws and regulations. It can also extend to examining operational processes for efficiency. Audits cost money, but as a taxpayer as well, I want transparency. This audit will help citizens understand where this money is spent and maybe even give more to the chamber if they consider the amount allocated insignificant. Our citizens deserve to know how these funds are spent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larissa.
Thank you.
I would also say that I support the chamber as well. I've communicated with Rosemary many times. I called her before. We had great phone conversations, and you asked for an apology. So I'm doing a formal apology to the elite women of the chamber. So I just wanted to say that, put that out there.
Okay. I make a
Anybody
motion.
else? Let's do it.
Okay, I make a motion to request for an audit of the hotel occupancy tax hot funds awarded to the Aransas Pass Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center for Publicity and Tourism.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so now we have, I guess, voted on an audit. So Ms. Chacon was asking for a third party to come in. So even though an RFQ process is not required for auditing services, I would recommend that we bring back at the next council meeting a request to issue an RFQ for auditing the hot funds awarded to the chamber.
I agree with that.
I'd actually like to make a different motion. I'd like to make a motion directing the city manager to bring at the next council meeting an agreement with Brenda McElwee to conduct an audit of the hot funds given to the AP Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center for years 2023 to present.
Can we do
What
that
was-
since
what were
it's
those
not on the
years?
agenda?
2023 to present?
Can we do that?
Is that beginning at the January 2023?
Mhm.
Okay. So calendar year.
Can we can a motion be made if something's not on the agenda?
Well, what she's doing is instructing us to bring back at the next council, it's a consensus, I mean, to bring back at the next council meeting an item to do an RF, I mean, to.
And that would be at the
To
December,
Go ahead and hire.
To hire.
and that would be at the December 1st?
That would be. at the
Or,
December-
well, item, or to bring back on the, for you
That's
to get with, find out pricing, all that stuff, yes.
I mean, you guys run the show. I've said that the whole time. The only, I'll give an opinion on this. I mean, we're talking transparency, and an RFQ brings transparency. I think it's the best thing to do because you'll get more people throwing their name in and possibly get some.
The reason I've chosen her is because she is the auditor for the city, and so
Yeah.
she's already deals with the city, and that is the only reason.
I think
d-
that's
don't
fair.
know
No,
her.
I respect
So,
that.
I think
respect
that's
that.
fair.
I'm gonna,
She already does audits for the
yeah,
city.
so that's the reason for
Okay.
choosing, so I'd like to keep it that way, to keep the same person that already looks at our records and our books.
Has that a motion already been made?
I've made it, it just needs to be seconded and forward.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, now we're moving right along and consider an act to accept the request from Roland Rodriguez to terminate his public relations services agreement with the city of Aransas Pass effective November 30th, 2025.
And Mr. Rodriguez, I had I guess, a phone conversation with him, and he asked me to bring this to council to accept his, I guess, his termination of his contract effective at the end of the month.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept and consider an act the request from Roland Rodriguez to terminate his public relations services agreement with the city of Aransas Pass effective November 30th, 2025.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Or
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
That one.
I'm not opposed. I'm in favor.
Okay, so again, now that the council has accepted Mr. Rodriguez's resignation of his contract, I would like to recommend that we place an item on the next agenda to issue an RFQ for public relations services.
Okay.
If there's a direct, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
do that.
please.
All right.
Okay, now we're going to move into a executive session. And first item of business, the potential transaction with the Nueces River Authority as it relates to future water supplies. Second item will be Jason Falwell versus City of Aransas Pass, Texas, civil action number 2:24-CV-00055, Southern District of Texas, Corpus Christi Division. And we'll also be deliberate economic development negotiations with Mark Lunsky. And it is 8:05.
Dinner time.
Okay, we're going to reconvene in open session. It is 8:46. And we're going to take action on one item, and it will be the economic development negotiating related to Mark Lunsky. And do we have a motion?
I make a motion to grant a letter of intent to MLMR Investments for 1,000 linear feet of intercoastal property at Calm Brown Harbor for development of a restaurant.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just a
All in
correction,
fa-
that's, I'm sorry, that should be MLMC?
No, MLMR.
MR, I'm sorry. I wrote it down wrong. My bad.
He corrected it.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. With that being said, meeting adjourned.
I'm happy. Thank y'all. I'm happy.